Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today I'm here with Thomas Littman, who got top 16 at the Core Online Regional with Yellow Baby. Now, firstly, this is really cool to see, Thomas, because we haven't seen this deck do really much of anything since set 9. So it's really cool to see that you've, topped with this deck here at one of these online regionals, and it's also 60 cards. So firstly, I want to know, why'd you play Blue Baby and why 60 cards? Obviously, we'll see the deck choices as we go through the video, but is there like a underlying reason why you chose 60 cards?
Well, with the Yellow Baby, it was kind of, there's so many different cards you can play in it. I tried cutting down the numbers, but 4 of a bunch of the cards was just kind of mandatory, especially with how much you cycle with discarding. So I figured, gotta keep it 60. You can't really shave off. There's obviously a few techs, but yeah, it was kind of rough. I never played a 60 card deck before, so it was pretty interesting shuffling it.
Gotcha. So a first time experience. Yeah, 60 cards is definitely not usual. And best of one, like you said, there's a lot of tech in there. So for best of one, you kind of don't have a choice but to try and fit it in, because you need to tech certain cards to help with certain matchups. But besides that, what made you want to play Yellow Baby, considering it hasn't been played in such a long time?
With the online event, I just want to have fun, and I didn't want to just play like the mainstream meta decks. So I figured if I play something cool and different, I get the surprise factor in there, and it definitely was a surprise factor with a lot of my opponents. And I love the interaction with some of the cards, so I just wanted to see if I could still get it going. And it did pretty well.
Very cool. All right, let's start seeing some of the main decks. So we have, this is the main combo, and I used to play this deck, so I know what it does, but I know a lot of people that maybe started playing in like set 10, set 11 probably don't know what it does. So real quick, so you have Super Baby 1, All-Consuming Terror. This is your Arrival Baby. You play him for 1 yellow by comboing a red and a yellow card. Then generally you're going to evolve Super Baby 1, Parasitic Menace on top of that for free. And then you can evolve Grade 8 Baby, Ultimate Evil Lifeform for 2 energy. That has Offering as well as Double Strike, allows you to take life as much as you want to minus your opponent's leader card. And then you can Awaken and play Heartfelt Plea. So once you get Evil Lifeform on the board, you're pretty much always gonna be able to awaken whenever you want. Put yourself down to 2 life, 1 life if you want to, and then play the Heartfelt Plea. So I really like this combo, and I think it's actually a good meta call on your part for playing this deck, even though I know it was a fun pick. But I think it's also a good pick because they're a deck like this that relies on a boss monster that does not have deflect generally is going to run into a problem with blue, right? And blue is not super popular in the meta right now. You might play against Blue Baby, and I'm actually curious if you play against Blue Baby or not. But besides that, the other counterplays don't really affect you as badly. Green is kind of annoying, but you have other cards that we'll take a look at in a second to deal with that. So did you play against much blue this weekend?
Yeah, I actually did go against a Blue Baby. I went against a Sin Shenron. I went against Tricolor Launch. I went against OG Broly. What else did I go against? I went against Red Broly. So I went against definitely a couple meta decks. I was fortunate to dodge all the black decks.
You feel like that's the worst matchup or something?
Yeah, just the Dark Broly. Too many 30Ks, and I mean, I only run 3 negates. Is kind of a brutal beating on my end, and Vejex just goes too fast at times, and they always have negates for days.
I see. Now were you looking at this as more of like a turn 2, turn 3 kill deck, or were you looking at this more of like a mid-range deck? How are you playing this deck?
It's definitely a turn 3 kill deck. You can play it mid-range. It's just you kind of have to feel how the turns are going. If you realize your opponent's going to start going face, you kind of step back and you play passive, because I mean, you don't have to arrival on your turn. You can arrival on your opponent's turn. And then that's where the updated cards like the Unison and the Counterplay. So you kind of have to realize how your opponent's playing, and that's how you mulligan. And it has 2 different ways of playing the deck. So
gotcha. You kind of have to just know the matchup and kind of feel it out, right?
Yeah.
And then for some of our other choices, so Baby Vengeful Blow, this is what I was talking about, where you can play around Frieza Charismatic Villain. If they counterplay one of your babies, you're able to play this guy onto the board and basically just restart your whole chain. And then a 1 of Apocalyptic Grudge Grade 8. But now, I like this card a lot. I think this is a really good card back when this deck was more meta. But you're only playing 1 copy in a 60-card list. So I feel like it's kind of tough to see it, but did this card come into play a lot for you?
No, it didn't. It was a pretty good discarding fodder for Evil Origins.
I see. So this was never really the play then.
Yeah, it was just there if, say, you were getting a pretty solid turn 2 to where you can play it on turn 2 and then follow up with another play on turn 3. It was just like a tech. It was one of those, hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's not going to break the whole system.
Gotcha. And then for mostly our consistency pieces, we have the 4 Dr. Mew, the 4 Baby Evil Origins. This is definitely an engine that makes Baby kind of insane. Like, if you're coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, you would know what Graceful Charity is. This is essentially a Graceful Charity for Yellow Baby, just letting you cycle through the deck super fast. And then Baby Janemba, Hatred Evil Personify, new promo card that never really saw too much play because it came out after Baby was kind of done doing its thing. So it's pretty cool. You get to play it for free, you get to look at the top 7, add up to 2 cards, then discard a card. So it definitely helps with the consistency, especially considering, again, you're playing a 60 card deck, so that had to help for sure. And this is a card, Baby Vengeful Upheaval, not a lot of people have played in the past, and when I first looked at your list, I was like, how are you even playing this? But then I realized that Baby Janemba is actually a 2-drop baby, so you have the free evolve there. Would you say that Vengeful Upheaval was one of your main playmakers? Is that why you chose to include 4?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the moment I saw the Baby Nimba, because I had this deck forever, I instantly saw that 3-drop. I was like, man, this is going to make the deck, like, go wide. You don't have to go tall all the time. And that's how I started doing 10 attacks in 1 turn because of that 3-drop and the amount of consistency you can get going, especially when you get your momentum. The pretty cool plays are, I mean, you arrival at the 4-drop, so you get to free play the Baby Nimba, and say you attack with both of them, you can free play the X Evolve, and then you just pay the yellow, and then you go into another 4-drop or the 3-drop. It gets switched to active mode, and then you can instantly play another Baby Nimba since you don't have it on board anymore.
Oh wow,
So
that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, so like you could kind of go wide. I mean, like a bunch of the decks, they were doing Violent Rays, and it didn't really affect me at all because I didn't go for the heartfelt play. I went for the attack with the 2 1-drops because I made his leader negative, so all the little guys were actually beast battle cards, and I just kept on attacking with Baby Nimba and 4-drops. And against the Sin Shenron player, I went into the 3-drop Unfair Choice, and I tapped down his blockers. So luckily he didn't have the Nimbus, but he didn't even have blockers, so he kind of was short-handed on.
Couldn't really do anything, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Now that's a really cool play that I'm glad you explained because I wasn't seeing it at first. But it's actually really cool that once you evolve over Baby Janemba, you can then play another one. That's a really cool interaction. And then we have the 1 Unfair Choice. So like you mentioned, you can bring this out off of the prior 3-drop if you need to remove something or tap something down. And then 4 Pangraded Whisper, classic combo piece. And this card's made a comeback with Sin Shenron aggro. Now they're playing that card to awaken at 2 life and get Celzina to attack multiple times. So people definitely know what that does. And then Bloodwave Generator, nice consistency piece, lets you untap an energy if you search for a baby. So that's definitely pretty solid there. And then your super combo lineup, I am definitely curious about this. 2 Zamasu and 2 Counterblast Gohan, but no red yellow Whis. Now I figured that would help with your arriving, but you obviously had reasons why you play these super combos, so why don't you explain that?
The Zamasu was just for against aggro decks. I figured it was a way to tap down some big threats. The Zamasu combo really didn't work as I thought it was, so I'm definitely going to cut that for best of 1.
I see.
I would probably stick to the 4 Gohan. The red yellow Whis is nice. Obviously, it'll help with the arrival. It's just when you're charging, you don't want to have that as like a, man, I don't want to charge this multicolor Whis, especially if it's on like turn 2, because you don't always have a bunch of yellow or red. So I figured worst case scenario, I could charge a yellow super combo, because that's your main goal. You don't really want to charge red, you want to charge yellow, because a lot of the cards base off of yellow, like the 3-drop baby, it costs 1 to do the Union Absorb.
Gotcha. So that's kind of just the main thing with the super combo choices there.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, I was about to say, would you consider Krillin, but you actually can't play Krillin because you're actually not charging. You have to charge some reds. to get the deck going. So, and then you did include a small unison package, so 2 Vegeta Unison of Fury and 2 Vegeta Powerful Transformation. I think it's really cool actually that this is actually a Vegeta GT, so you can actually use it for Union Absorb, which is a really good synergy with the deck. Unison of Fury, did you want it mostly for the Floodgate or the win condition, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, it was mainly the Floodgate. It was more if I play on turn 2, I could kind of stall out a turn or two. Because as long as I get to turn 3, it's especially depends on your situation in your hand. That's you can explode and get everything going. Arrival the 4-drop, go all the way up to the Big Ape and go for game. And then it's really good against Dark Broly. That was my main factor, was Dark Broly.
Gotcha. Got a tech for the bad matchup. Totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And then for negates, we have 2 topos. We have 1 Protector of the People. I'm definitely curious why you went with Protector instead of something like I don't know, Nimbus or something like that. Why Protector?
It's pretty funny because I was like, man, I'm not even using Nimbus. I probably should have used Nimbus over Protector. So that was a bad call for sure.
Kind of like a brain fart.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I'm gonna roll with it. So Protector of the People was there. It did its thing.
Gotcha. And then how did Heroine's Lineage work out for you?
It was there as a backup. I mean, I like it over a lot of the other secrets. I mean, stealing the opponent's battle card is definitely a huge threat. I mainly used it against Sin Shenron when I took his 3-drop. So just in case if he went into the Cell Xeno, then I could just tap it down. Wait, yeah, you could tap it down off that, right? Yeah. So yeah, if he went for the kill shot with Cell Xeno, I just tap it down. But it's a solid secret. I wouldn't change it.
Cool. So that's the entire list. I appreciate you taking the time to go through it with us. Any final shout outs you want to get out there?
Shout out to my buddies who helped me test with it. Shout out to my sponsor, Gamers, or not Gamers, but G Sports. They're a great team. Shout out to you. I love that you found interest with the deck. Don't have to always use meta. Always use rogue decks. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, man. If you know a deck in and out, it can definitely take you far. But Thomas, thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, man. Have a good day.